I'm coming. Yeah. So,
Hey, you and Joshua, Thriller in Manila too.
Joshua don't want to fight, man. It's just plain and clear.
Put names out there, guys want to fight.
I don't know why people keep asking about that. Like, I've been, in my career, I've been nothing but straightforward, honest, and truthful. I know certain things has been said people don't like because I am who I am. I speak how I speak.
You keep it 100.
I don't go around the bush. I'm either 0 to a 100. Either I like you or I don't. It ain't no in between the middle for me because I know what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man understanding and know what he wants.
So Joshua doesn't want it.
I'm a Libra, bro. Everything adds on to even out for us.
Ngannou?
So when I tell you about
A Libra,
the 50
stop
million,
it.
when everybody should have known when the 50 million was an offer to him, they took it as an offer. After he asked for it, and he didn't take it, they should have known then. It was something fishy. Something was about him. You know what I mean? But even moving forward, Joshua don't want to fight. You know, it's certain information that I know, and it's certain information that the public receive from others. Now, as fighters, we got connections all around the world because we travel around the world. We know different people, and in boxing, we know that loyalty is very rare.
This guy loved the waffle.
Rare in boxing. They may say they love you and be your buddy, but trust me, they'll still take from you. So you gotta be good, man. Let me stop.
Okay, you and Ngannou. How about that one?
Oh, what's good, family? It's your man, the YB. Back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Jaden Anthony, for coming through and boosting the coin up. No doubt about it. So we just heard there from your mans, Deontay. Oh man, you know, cock-a-doodle-doo, Nick Wilder. Waffling the place up. This guy, where do they find this funny style guy at, man? Big error train, pointy chin having ass dude. Anyway, let's get to the point here. Listen, I'm not even, to be honest, this video don't even need to exist. This, in a way, it makes me quite sad, quite emotional. Yeah? Do you remember? How many years was it? Probably 4 years ago. I remember, 4 years ago, there used to be I used to be, all of us, man, really, in boxing, especially on the AJ side. The kind of relationship we had with the whole AJ and Wilder thing. It does make me almost shed a tear. We've lost that, ain't we? That's gone now. Back then, do you remember 2018 times? 2018, AJ was the guy and it was all kind of hot, wasn't it? Now it's dead. My man's been washed by a whole bag of dudes. It's a bit like, I don't know, it's a bit like if you're in jail and you've been thinking about coming home to some virgin bride, and then when you finally get out of jail, you realise the whole team, the whole bag of man's been run through already. That let down, do you know what I'm saying? So this AJ and Wilder thing is completely irrelevant. That said, coins must be made, videos must be put out, and on that basis, we will talk about it. Listen, Wilder, cut the cap. Oh man, $50 million in the bag. Listen, that $50 million, even if it was real, which by the way, at the time, Team AJ said, if you got 50 million, show us the 50 million. And then Wilder replied, oh man, it's in the bag. And no, we're not asking if is it in the bag. We want to see the details. Oh man, you know, it's in the bag. We got $50 million in the bag. And I told y'all it's in the bag. No. Where's the details? Where's the term sheet? Guess what Team Wilder said? Oh man, you know, we don't do term. It's in the, y'all gotta trust us. It's in the bag. And okay, Wilder, can we meet Shirley Winkle? Oh man, you know, well, we can't meet. And at that time, Eddie Holm was setting up, patterning himself up in New York, where Shelley Winkle is. He said, "Bum, let's get together." Shelley Winkle said, "Oh, we can't meet. You need to." That's what he said. No, what of a lie. At the time, the whole lyric was about the 50 million. Yeah, the whole lyric about the 50 million in the bag was, "You need to agree before we meet." No joke. Do you know how mad that is? That was the whole narrative. We're not going to, even though you're in New York, Eddie Holm was in New York putting videos out saying, listen, let's meet, let's link up. Their whole thing was, we're not going to meet you until you accept the offer. So what the fuck? And then I think even at one point, Eddie Holm even said, okay, for what it's worth, we accept the offer. At that point, Wilder's team said, the deadline's gone. We give you 24-hour deadline. That was another thing as well. I'm sure there was a 24-hour or some stupid deadline. Wilder said, oh man, you got $50 million in the bag in 24 hours. Anywho, whether or not, to be quite frank with you, whether or not the 50 million in the bag was real or not is irrelevant because that has been trumped. What we know happened since then, in the months after that event, was Deontay Wilder. And that's what I don't rate about people. They put in the bits that, well, it's obvious, human nature, but they put in the bits that help them out and conveniently slide like they're an ice skating rink over the bits that don't back up their fake news narrative. Meaning, well, Wilder, why didn't you, since you was lyricking off, why didn't you mention the 120 million, I think it was about 140 at one point, but why didn't you mention the 120 million actually in a bag, backed by DAZN? Yeah? Never mind in a bag, that was on paper. Judicial paper. Contractual paper, never mind in a... Listen, I'll tell you this for free. I'll take 120 million on contractual paper over in a bag, man, any day of the week. Deontay Wilder was offered probably one of the best deals in the history of the game, truth be known. Let me tell you how crazy it was, people. Deontay Wilder was offered 20 million, I think it was 25, but for certainly $25 million to fight Dominic Brazil on DAZN. That was the first fight. It was basically a 3-fight deal. You fight Dominic Brazil and then you fight AJ twice. 120 million. I think there may have even been a 4th fight for 140. At the time, Wilder was fighting for 1, 2, 3, 4 mil. They offered him 25 to fight Brazil. Him and his team said no. They said no, we won't accept 120 million for 3 fights because we believe this fight is worth 400 million, like Pacquiao. Honestly, all jokes aside, the Wilder and AJ whole thing, that was one of the biggest blunders in the history of boxing. Simple as that. I've never seen someone blow such a bag. All Wilder had to do was turn up and take free money. But it just goes to show that, especially in the heavyweight division, the problem is, you see, is people full of egos. And I think, we know what happened. What happened was, you see, Wilder assumed, I'll wash Fury, AJ will handle his business, and the fight will just get bigger. You know what I mean? And that's why a team's necessary. Because a team would step in and say, listen, as much as we think you'll beat Fury, it's better a hand in the, a bird in the hand. A bird in your hand is better than 2 in the bush. Yeah? And that's where Wilder went bigly wrong. One of the biggest blunders in the history of the game. Just free cash sitting there. And to think now, looking back, posthumously, yeah? Since Wilder's been deaded off, yeah? So again, posthumously, when you think that Wilder got washed anyway by Fury for relative peanuts, for both of them, in fact for all 3 of the fights, but for certainly the first 2 fights, which was the basis of the AJ fight, yeah, all Wilder's done, Wilder had a $100 million deal for 2 AJ fights. Instead of taking that and losing to AJ twice, he took the Fury fight and lost to Fury for 20 million. At best. Do you understand that, people? Wilder got paid 20 million for the first 2 Fury fights added together. That's an absolute max estimation as well. It could well be 10 for both of them, but certainly it's 20. So Wilder took 2 Fury fights for 20 million and he had an AJ offer of 100 million on the table and he got washed anyway. It's a huge travesty. Why? Well, there's 2 things going on here. Number 1, at the time, if Wilder had sold his booty hole for 100 million, losing to AJ wouldn't have been a big deal, would it? Oh, you lost to a big buff. Kind of, at that time, AJ was smoking people's packs anyway. So, in my opinion, to lose to AJ at that time is better than how Wilder lost to Fury. Because Fury was never supposed to have no power. Fury never stopped no one. And that's why Wilder had to come up with all the different... it was this, it was that. There was egg weights in the gloves. He had to because he knew, wait a minute, this guy don't have no power. How can a guy with no power have me out here hitting that stanky leg, getting super duper low with it? What we now know is that Wilder has an era-trained chops. Yeah, very pointy. 100%. The era-trained... Listen, era-trained ons, they're great at running. They're not great at having chops. Too pointy. You can't have a pointy... If you've got pointy whiskers, it's a wrap for you. All someone's got to do is tip the end of your chops, and it's over. Look at Wilder, yeah. Fury ain't never smoked. No, let's be real now. Looking back now, who has Fury smoked? Bumillion. Here's another one. No chops. Fake Yardman chops, no good. We've been known fake Yardman chops is no good. You've got fake Yardman, Bumillion, White, and that's it. Look at Chisora. Chisora went in there, a thoroughbred, and Fury's shots are bouncing off. He was in there, digging as hard as he could, losing Yamanda YB's coins like a muppet. Yeah? So that's what Wilder was struggling with. Wow, this guy with no power has just dusted off my pointy Eritrean chops. Yeah? So rather than take that ego destruction, it must be some sort of magical thing instead. It must be the Anunnakis that Fury's working with. That's what he had to come up with. But really, he should be... I don't even think Wilder dares even contemplate how much he messed the bag up. Imagine that, though. It's one thing, because Wilder's whole shtick was, okay, I'll beat Fury for 20 million, and then I'll have the AJ fight that's only bigger at that point. Once I've pushed Fury's wig back. So you've gone from that to, no, you've not only, never mind, forget about a 100 million AJ fight. You've now been washed by a dude with no power. That's just complete, and that's why I have to give Wilder respect, because he hasn't completely fell off. At one point, I was hearing from industry insiders that it weren't looking good for Wilder. Wilder may end up literally not the same again. A, from the damage Fury did, but B, just psychologically, is what was going on in his Nelly, yeah? I've just been washed by the dude with no power, that kind of thing going on. But don't forget as well, Wilder was supposed to be I'm the most feared, the V's, that kind of cat. Any cat who talks like that, you know his ego's different. And when that ego gets popped, yeah, there's no telling what it can do. So yeah, end of the day, man, Wilder, you played yourself. AJ's scared. Listen, AJ love money. So that's another thing. We've been known AJ won't fight me. AJ will do anything for coin. Yeah, I think AJ, and I hope I'm wrong, AJ's gone to Texas and he's giving it a go with Derek James. I hope everyone's sake, I hope AJ pulls out of the bag and comes back looking like a whole new dude. But regardless, whether he does or doesn't, you best believe he's hanging around for the Wilder fight. Not my words as well. AJ himself said, at this stage in my career, it's about the money. That's what he said. Now, his actions since then may imply otherwise, but really, once you've said that, you know what I'm saying? Once you've said them bars, it's not about the legacy, it's about the coins. That just, you know what I mean? So on that basis, the AJ fight will absolutely happen at some point, people. Even if AJ loses to Franklin, it's even more likely to happen then. I think AJ's plan potentially may go the way that Wilder's plan went, meaning well. Ooh, I can fight Wilder now for 30 million, or I can go away, build myself back up, knock Franklin out, knock Dillian White out, and then the Wilder fight becomes a $50 million fight again, doubled it up. Especially if Wilder has beat Ruiz. That actually makes sense, doesn't it? Wilder beats Ruiz, AJ beats Dillian White and Franklin. That then makes it, I'm sorry, but that does double up the appeal. Especially if Wilder knocks Ruiz out. Especially if AJ knocks Dillian White out. However, like Wilder, at this point in time, I'm not prepared to back. It's all well and good planning. Ooh, we'll double the revenue up. But who here thinks AJ going to get through Dillian White and Franklin? Or even one of them at this point? I think I'm sorry, people think I'm mad. I think these fights are 50-50. Based on what we saw versus Usyk. AJ needs a miracle to make these fights odds-on favourites, in my opinion. I'm actually shocked. People have got AJ a 6-1 favourite against Franklin. I'm baffled based on what we saw against Usyk. What part of either Usyk fight tells you any competent heavyweight who can tangle and who has any level of chin, AJ is going to have a hard fight with, in my opinion, based on what we've seen. Now, based on AJ's potential, who knows? If Derek James can get in his head somehow, then yeah, fair game. But until I see otherwise, it's not looking good. This could end bad. I can honestly see Franklin's got fast hands. He's got that Andy Ruiz. I can see AJ punching, Franklin punching with him. bop right on the side of his head, right on the side of his bonce, and his back leg goes, and it all comes, oh, what, oh, not again. That's what you'll see on his face. Oh, it's happening again. And then you'll see AJ stumbling back with his leaky defense, and you know what I'm saying? That's what I can see happening. Hope I'm wrong though. But on that basis, then AJ will become a laughing stock because he'll lose to Franklin, and then he will literally just be out here whoring himself out, in my opinion. He'll be saying, Wilder, come have a go on me. Fury, come have a go on me, please. I'll accept anything. I think AJ at that point, if AJ loses to Franklin or Dillian White, he'll literally just be begging for dudes to come have a go on him quick. Please. I'll do anything. Come have a go on me for some coins. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Wilder, that's another thing. Cut the cap, yeah? You both, all due respect, both of you, man, have fluffed the bag, truth be known. You got washed by Pillar Fist. AJ got washed by Mr. Blobby. And, yeah, you're both just... It's not like the way Wilder carrying on. It's as if it's still relevant. You know what I mean? Oh, the 50. It's quite sad, really. Like I said at the start, it's sad to see how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, you know it's bad when people have to mention things from 5 years ago. Oh, people, don't you remember? You know what I mean? Like for Wilder to still be relevant, he has to mention how him and AJ did things 5 years ago. Oh, but people don't forget about the $50 million 5 years ago. That was the last time, let's be real now, the last time Wilder was really popping, like saying, not just Wilder, I'm not picking on people here. AJ as well. The last time AJ and Wilder had any level of real pop was 5 years ago. That is sad, isn't it, when you think about it? Back then, it was, I remember, Fury was on the periphery. Fury was just some dude. Do you know what I mean? He was any man, really. It was all about the two bulls. Oh, who's the biggest bull of them all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the bull of them all? Or is it Wilder? Yeah? And again, the last thing I'll say is, what would keep me up at night if I was Wilder was the fact that not only have I been filled in for less coins by Fury, it's the fact that if Wilder had taken the 100 million against AJ, he actually had a chance of winning them fights. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what must get him. Is for example, yeah, let's say, since 2017, AJ has just gone on a tear. Got better and better and better. He smoked Ruiz. Yeah? He smoked Usyk. Knocked Usyk out in the first few rounds. At that point, you could say, well, people, yes, I got beat by Fury, but AJ, he would have been on that booty hole. He'd have been tearing that booty hole up. But now, Wilder must sit there and think, wait a minute, I've played myself out of $80 million only to lose to Fury anyway, in the avoidance of a fight where, I gotta be honest with you people, knowing what I know now, even back from 2018, I would have or if I had an alien spaceship and I could go back to 2018, knowing what I know now, and I was told Wilder versus AJ's happening, my money is going on Wilder. Simple as that. So imagine how Wilder must feel. I've lost 80 million. I've been filled in anyway, and I could have actually won that fight. At least then. Yeah, at least if Fury had then, let's say Wilder knocks AJ out and then loses to Fury, you can at least say, well, I beat one of the good guys. Now it's like, if Wilder beats AJ now, who cares? Middleweight, Usyk already had to go on him. And that really shows you the quality here. Usyk, a middleweight, washed Losua. Imagine what, let's all due respect, Usyk, a middleweight, popped AJ in his chops, and he looked like he see a ghost. Imagine, and I'm not someone who believes Wilder's this massive puncher here, but imagine if Wilder had have licked off that right hand. AJ would have been like, you know what I'm saying, they've been seeing triple. Well, which one is it? And these are it's what people in the game, they have to look, managers, promoters in the game, please study these careers. Don't go out like these guys. People like Errol Spence, people like Terence Crawford. What are you, man, doing? This is what happens. You try to be too smart with it. Ooh. And you're not smart. That's the other thing. You man aren't smart. Your management teams aren't smart. And look at you, all out, going out all the way sad now. Out here essentially begging AJ. Oh, man. That's another thing about Wilder. Yeah, he waffle about AJ. Wait a minute. You're supposed to be fighting Ruiz. Yeah? Let's focus on that. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Old Man, you know. I'm from Alabama, and Ruiz wants some of that. Ruiz wants some. Go in there, and I'm sick of you seeing you fight these fake ass fights. Go in there, listen. If Wilder ices Ruiz, yeah, I'll admit, I'll tell you now for free. I think most of Wilder's fights were fixed. I know for a fact the Malik Scott fight was fixed. The Malik Scott punch did not hit Malik Scott. Yeah, this didn't happen. So it's not what happened. So it's fixed. Now, what I will say is, yes, Ruiz might love a burger more than the next man. However, he ain't a fake. He ain't going to jump on the floor, in my opinion. If Ruiz wanted to jump on the floor, he could have done so in the AJ rematch, innit? If there was ever a time for Ruiz to jump on the floor. He wasn't trained. He wasn't serious. AJ hit him with a few big right hands. He could have jumped on the floor. So what I'm saying is, what I will say, I've been critical of Wilder's power for many years. If Wilder knocks Andy Ruiz out cold, or at any level, if Wilder stops Ruiz, I will agree. Yeah, he's then, for me, earned the right for probably top 5 hardest punchers of all time. Stops him. Because then, on the other side, it's kind of like, what I struggle with is the fact that Steve Cunningham put Fury down. Yeah, Steve S.S. Cunningham put Fury down. And you're supposed to be the biggest puncher of all time. Why couldn't you finish your dinner? That's the question. That is what troubles me. That's what's troubling about Wilder's power. Because it's not as if you didn't hit him. You put him down a few times, which tells me that, wait a minute, you hit him hard enough to put him down, but not hard enough to put him out. So, how hard are you really hitting? Yeah? That's, you know what I mean? It's not like you were, oh well, IB, he never hit him the whole fight. That's different. But you had enough power to put him down, but not enough to put him out. That's problematic to be the hardest puncher of all time. The hardest puncher of all time, when he hits you right, you're out of there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. There's no doubt about it. 100%.